I cannot remember everything. It feels like I can only hold memories as many fingers I have on one hand. Each one a coffin I've nailed shut until one needs to be opened and something else has to be buried. I remember things by tracing them in blood and name a wound. A lie I told myself to keep going. I roll the bones, I interpret, and I write it down. If I run out of space, something gets forgotten. That's the curse, not immortality. Forgetting why you ever wanted it. Let's begin. We start with one memory, one experience that encapsulates their history. This first little experience is a little different than most experiences because it will be a broad summary of our vampire's life before becoming an undead thing. Next, we will create 3 mortals and add them to our record sheet. They could be relatives, friends, lovers, enemies, anything else appropriate for their time and place. We will give them 3 skills fitting for their lot in life and 3 resources they obtained while still mortal. It can be anything, big or small, whether it's an obsidian knife or a fleet of warships. Then we create 3 more experiences, with 1 experience each being entered into a separate memory. Lastly, we create an immortal, the creature that gift or cursed our vampire with unlife. We create a mark and an experience that explains how our vampire became a creature of the night. Once we are finished, we will have 3 skills, 3 resources, 3 mortals, an immortal, 1 mark, and 1 experience in each of their 5 memories. Let's meet her then. This is not how I died. This is how I remained. I am Ada, a dead a long time ago. I do not remember her. I was born and loved only to work for long hours in the valley. I was older than some, but younger than others. I cannot remember their faces. I cannot remember anything but the toil, the work, the sweat, that sleep that came so quick and so fast and left without a trace. I remember the sun peeking in the windows. Before I was ready to wake. I was born in shadow, before there was light, before candles, before we had enough windows in the wall. There were too many mouths to feed, and far too little beds. There is nothing more than grief and hunger. We had fields, green and verdant, but they were difficult to till, to farm, to bury seed, and watch new growth succeed every spring. If you had money, if you had livestock, the toil, it was harsh on a young body and its bones. My feet blistered easily. I forget the pain of walking, with no souls strong enough to last a harvest. That's all I felt. Hunger, hunger, hunger. Everything I ate was just at the tip of not enough. Everything I drank felt so little and so desperate after a long day in the fields. I do not know if I felt loved or cared, or if I was another mouth to feed. I wasn't a child for long. Soon as these feet walked, they worked. I was born in shadow. Perhaps I was meant to die in it as well. His face is the one I remember the most, but I am unsure with time. I only remember what I hope to remember. And maybe I have forgotten the softness of his eyes. Maybe he never had softness or a kind word. He had a patchy beard and eyebrows with gray gristled through it. Father. His arms were steel and oak. I do not remember his name. What was his name? Father. I may have called him that maybe once or twice. I cannot remember him calling mine. You there. You. You. No, not you, you. I remember his finger pointing at me. He was my beginning. The first face I can remember, as far back as I can remember. Half a pace, forward and back, his legs always walking further and further on. And in the dark night, under one candle, his face, halfway shrouded in darkness. I do not know if he looked at me with pity or worry. Could he hear my stomach growling? Did he wonder if I worked too hard? Greta, my heart, the first one I gave it to. She had kissed me to practice. Behind old hay, the smell of manure, and that sunlight again peeking in between the wood boards. That kiss changed me. It was the first break. The toil and the farm will never be enough. Sweet Greta. She had dark black hair that never could stay in a braid. Ada, Ada, I hear her voice sometimes. And then I forget her voice. Her first voice. When she had called to me from across the field, across our fence, checking to see if Father would let us go to run to the stream and back. We would make it quite far, the two of us. Holding her hand was as easy as slipping into sleep. I saw what the farm would do to a woman her age. Her first child she named after me. She wasn't allowed to, but that is what she was called. Ada, Ada. Her second child was a boy. She had lost a third. Her fifth, she didn't want any more after that. But that was not up for her to decide, as with any other decision, especially not who to love. I would see her looking, though, far off into the distance. The old barn, the wood floorboards. Maybe it is what I remember. Maybe it's my hope that those little hands that grabbed at me and held me so tight yearned for me too, as I yearned for her. She grew wrinkles around her mouth, no smiles to earn them, gifts, unwanted gifts that time could only give. I cannot remember their name, but those eyes. I am scared. I am scared for the day they return. Will they look at me with pain or anger? I cannot remember what I did. I cannot remember what I've done. This blade was my father's. One of many. One that I could steal. I am the child of a farmer. I am a gentle butcher. He had taught me many skills. To survive was one of them. And I have survived very well, haven't I, Father? I can soothe the soul with my words. I was always the one to talk to the chickens. Is that why the eyes look at me with so much pain? I do not remember the year. I cannot remember the age that I held. We never kept count. I only remember the sun and the winters. The youngest of us died fast, and those who survived were married and left to make more of their own. Grief was plenty. You ate it in the same bowl as you did happiness, however rare, like meat you would get in the dead of winter. I remember that chill, a hunger that lingered through the air. They crept out into the night. Hunger, I would name him. Bangs down his face. I thought first he a creature, an animal. Hungry. It was dead winter. Old, barren. There is nothing to eat. And I had strayed too far from home. He wore a collar, a nobleman's suit, a hat, but his fabric was frayed. His back was hunched over. And before I knew it, the animal dashed. I took out my blade. I croaked out a stop. Get out. Leave. I ran up to a tree. But it was too late. The scars they left on me were plenty, like cracks in broken glass. My skin forever changed that day. I thought I was sheared, fabric cut into pieces, but I did not die. I carry those scars now from this point on. My mark. With the right light, I can blend into my surroundings. Like ice in a blanket of snow. My skin was like mirrors, and I lived. I lived another day.